Hello my lovelies, my name is Stephanie and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is still Stephanie. I'm a trans YouTuber who talks about trans YouTube things. So exactly 2 years ago, I made a video called Post-Op Sex, talking about my first year post-op in terms of my sexual experiences and how that was going and things like that. And I released that video on the 26th of May 2021, and obviously today's the 29th of May 2023, so it has been 2 more years of sluttiness, like quite a bit of sluttiness. But actually I was making this video in response to, well, I was gonna make this video anyway. I wanted to make a video about like post-op penetrative sex and kind of like talking about the sexual development that has followed since making that lovely video. I seem to remember that I said something in that video along the lines of, the thing that I want to get super clear is that I have not had penetrative sex within my kind of vagina with a penis or like a phallus or anything like that. I encountered a lot of complications following on from my operation, and dilation became very difficult for me because of said complications. So the loss of depth in my vaginal cavity is kind of stopping me from kind of pushing for that. I could achieve a kind of deeper and wider vagina if I wanted to, if I pushed myself more with my dilation and things like that. But it's very painful for me. It's not very enjoyable, and yeah, so first things first, I have not had a penetrative vaginal sex with my new vagina. I don't really plan to anytime soon, just because of kind of the connotations of how uncomfortable it makes me feel and things like that. So just wanted to get that out of the way, like straight away. Okay? And I got a couple of comments on that video and people were mad because they were like, oh, post-op sex means penetrative sex. And it's like, no. There are many types of sex that aren't penetrative. Actually, if you got out from underneath your rock, you would know that. But yes, so today we're doing part 2 revisited of that lovely video, which honestly I'm super excited for because that has been my most popular video to date because you're all a bunch of perverts. That's why I have my hair like this, because it's absolutely a throwback to the hairstyle I had in that video. I'm gonna pop a picture of it up on screen now. I don't know why on that day I decided to have my hair in clips. I have no idea. It's not a hairstyle I wear usually. I think I was just trying to add some like variety to the mix, but that's the hair I have in my most popular videos, so I thought I would bring it back just for this video and the thumbnail, so I hope you're appreciating the throwback. So without further ado, let's go into a little bit of a disclaimer. So on my channel, as you can probably tell, because my most recent video was about my boobs, and then obviously this is like a reprise of a video I did 2 years ago. We're very, I say we, I'm very sex positive on my channel. I talk very openly about sex. I talk very openly about my interactions in terms of sex and things like that. I talk openly about dilation. I talk openly about surgery. I talk openly about lots of different things, and so on this channel we talk very openly about that. If you're under the age of 18 years old, or you are someone who doesn't want to hear about my sex life, then this is not the video for you. And what I will do is I will link another video just up there that might be a little bit more up your street. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you do. So let's go in, but before we get started, please don't forget to like this video, maybe consider subscribing, you know, all of those good things, you know. So the main thing I wanted to talk about, because lots of people were like really mad at me for not having penetrative sex, I wanted to talk about having penetrative sex. obviously. So in my last video I made in 2021, I spoke about how my vagina was very tight and I had lots of problems. So when I had my surgery on the 15th of February 2020, I had to have a revision because I had hypergranulation and I had wound adhesion, and that meant that I lost a lot of depth and width in terms of my dilation, in terms of my neovaginal cavity, and at some point in the future, I believe that I might revisit it and have a third revision just to like the depth and width of my new vaginal cavity. And as a result, I was really scared about having penetrative sex with my new vagina. So I hadn't really experienced that. I think last time I did this video, I had sex with 2 male partners and 1 female partner, and was very much focused on like fingers, tongues, toys, you know, oral and all of those things, and anal sex, which I still love, but we will get onto that a little bit later. Playing with my hair a lot, sorry, I'm just gonna fluff it and then, okay, great, that's fine, we'll leave it. It's doing what it's doing. Okay, so, no, wait, no, there we go. Okay, now it's doing what it's doing. So, it's been 2 years since then. 2 years of quite a slutty era, to say the very least. And I have had quite a bit of post-op penetrative sex, actually. Although interestingly enough, so obviously if you've been on my channel for a little bit of a while, you will know that I have gained some weight, and wasn't feeling super confident with my body, wasn't feeling super happy with how my vagina looked, kind of following on from my weight gain. And so the only people I've had post-op penetrative sex with happen to be my ex-boyfriends, because I think I was like looking specifically for people who I knew how to satisfy my body, 1, but 2, people who were removed from judgment of me because they had already kind of like seen me at my worst, seen me at my best. And so I had sex with 2 of my previous partners, penetrative sex. And then after those 2 partners, I did go on to have penetrative sex with a few more people. And here on Stephanie Lynette, we practice safe sex. So don't forget to wrap it up, folks. But so, okay, so like mini story time. The first guy I had post-op penetrative sex with is quite large, or shall we say, and so I really struggled with that because it was quite painful to begin with. There was lots of stretching, there was a little bit of bleeding, which is all to be expected from your first kind of like penetrative sexual vaginal experience. I'm really lucky because my complications led to me to have a hypersensitive vagina, and because I used to, because I used to create a large quantity of pre-ejaculate before my sexual reassignment surgery, my vagina is completely self-lubricating and extremely sensitive, and I realised that I am incredibly lucky. Sorry about it. I'm really sorry. And so everything's lubricated, and the partner who I had post-op penetrative sex with made sure that I had orgasmed multiple times in order to release the tension in my muscles and to kind of stretch myself and prepare myself and those sorts of things. And so we had penetrative vaginal sex, which I'm not gonna lie, it was painful the first time I had it. Oh my god, but okay. So I'm just gonna say it. When he ejaculated into my vagina, I was so happy that I cried. And I know that sounds really dramatic, but obviously like, this is the surgery I had waited for my entire life. And then I had it, and then there were loads of complications. And then for like a year afterwards, I felt like I was never going to be able to use it. So when he ejaculated inside my neovaginal cavity, I was so happy that I cried. And he thought something was wrong, and I was just there and I was like, no, I'm just really happy, and I'm so glad it was with an ex of mine, because otherwise that would have been a really awkward encounter with like a total stranger, or even someone that like was new to me dating them. So Lewis, big shout out to you, thanks so much. And then after him, I did some, well, I slept with him a few more times. But we realised that we had moved past where we were when we were romantically attracted to each other, and it was very much a physical thing. And once I had kind of gotten what I needed, I kind of made a swift exit. Sorry about it. And so following on from him, I then revisited another ex-boyfriend of mine. So what's really funny is the first time I had sex from my surgery, when I had anal sex for the first time, that was with an ex-boyfriend. And then the first time I had post-op penetrative vaginal sex, that was with another ex-boyfriend. And then I went on to sleep with another ex-boyfriend. And the other ex-boyfriend was actually great. He is kind of slightly smaller than the other two were. And that was great because it, like, I hate saying this, but it literally felt like I was like custom fit to him, and that came with a lot of like romantic complications. We were revisiting, we weren't revisiting, it was what it was. And so yeah, that kind of followed, and then since then I've experimented with a few other people. So my review is on post-op penetrative vaginal sex is fun, painful, need to stretch first, definitely need to stretch first. I'm self-lubricating, so I don't have a problem with that. However, if you're one of the more common denominators and you're not self-lubricating, I would highly suggest a water-soluble lubricant. And just to say also that a neovagina is not self-cleaning, so you obviously have to take care of yourself and make sure that that's all sorted. Gotta sit on that seat, Mary. So that's like the first part of it. In terms of being self-lubricating, as I said, I know that I'm really, really lucky. But something I wanted to talk about was the taste. And I don't know why I wanted to talk about this specifically. But I'm obviously, so I identify, well, I don't really identify as being anything, but I'm attracted to both men and women and non-binary folk. And it means that in my time I have eaten out several vagina-having folks. Big fan of it. Mildly talented at it, actually. Thanks very much. And so I know what that kind of tastes like in like a cisgendered mindset. And I'm here to tell you that the taste is very similar. It's maybe not got quite as much of like that natural odor. It's kind of more kind of odorless, and I would say that the texture is slightly, not like runnier, but like stringier, like slightly less viscose, slightly more like pre-ejaculate in a male. Yeah, I would say that that's kind of where it is. Obviously I well, not obviously, a lot of you probably don't know this, but I don't have the ability to kind of squirt or have a female ejaculation. And that's fine. That's really not a problem with me, because the people who I sleep with, they are very aware when I have arrived, for lack of a better word. So that's really good. Hypersensitivity in terms of masturbation is great. I'm very sensitive just above my clitoris, which is kind of where I tend to focus my personal attention, which is brilliant. And then I suppose the other thing to talk about is multiple stimulation points. So obviously having a neovaginal cavity that's quite constricted in terms of size leads me to having a lot of penetrative anal sex, and then maybe oral vaginal sex, or utilizing toys or fingers or any of those things. And so the way that the neovaginal cavity works is it's created in between your bladder and your prostate. So like, this is the neovaginal cavity, your bladder's on top, your prostate is below, because you keep your prostate, and then your anal cavity is like here. So your prostate is between the two. And this means two things. The first thing it means is if someone is inside of you, either with themselves or a toy, and they're also pleasuring your other hole, you can feel it between the vaginal wall, because it's very, but I've spoken to a lot of cis women and they've also experienced something similar, so that's fine. The other thing is, the way that you can achieve orgasm with a neovaginal cavity is it's stimulating the prostate, which is the same as if you were having anal sex. So if there's an instance where both of those orifices are being stimulated, then it becomes quite the experience. And that's what I will say about that. This video is definitely getting demonetized. This video has definitely been demonetized. I'm sorry, YouTube, I apologize. I'm just giving the people what they want. And then I suppose the last thing to kind of talk about, well, there's kind of two things to talk about. The first thing is the appearance. So here's the thing. I'm a big girl, you know, I'm curvy, I'm thickums, like all of that stuff. I've got podge going on, I've got, you know, a nice rack. All natural, by the way. Check out my recent video on my breasts, which I will link just above. So I kind of get away with having a slightly different relationship to my vagina, because obviously I'm a big girl, so I have like a mound, and I have like kind of, I guess, like puffier vaginal lips than you would normally expect, because that's what a lot of big girls have. So I found that very affirming. But in terms of like the scarring and things like that, I'm not super happy with like the aesthetic point of view, but it's, oh my god, it's so much, it's just so far superior to the alternative, which was having a dick I never used. So in terms of the aesthetic, I'm fine with it. It's so much better than it previously was. It's very much aligns with my identity, but I'm not super happy with the scars, but that's because I had a lot of wound adhesion, so my scars are kind of slightly wider than they should have been. So yeah, and then I suppose the last thing to kind of talk about is how it affected my confidence in the bedroom. So when I was pre-op, I had very little confidence in the bedroom in terms of my sexual ability, but also my ability to be in certain positions. So anything that exposed the front of my body, which obviously is where my penis was, I was very against. So like riding and anything facing me and things like that, like I really struggled with, because I hated the idea of having like that visual indicator that spoke against my chosen gender identity. And obviously my confidence has changed significantly in terms of my sexual abilities. So yeah, there was definitely like an immediate change. And then also where I became bigger following on from my surgery, which was a mixture of post-operative depression, lockdown snacking, change in my metabolism, breakdown of my hormones, because I had my testicles removed and that massively affects it. I also became much more feminine in my body shape, and that was very nice. That was actually really lovely. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and having like larger breasts and larger hips and feeling much more feminine, having stretch marks. I actually love my stretch marks. So yeah, it's really changed my confidence in terms of that, in terms of like riding and being on top and all of those fun things. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this like part 2 of post-op sex, the penetration diary. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I hope you're avoiding transphobia. And remember, your favourite content creators don't owe you anything. So if you came on this video thinking you were going to see something that you didn't see, or find out about something that you didn't find out about, that is your problem, not mine. So I'm not interested in any of your comments that say otherwise. However, I do welcome all of your lovely comments and questions and curiosities and things like that. We love to see it. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you avoid transphobia. It's a very transphobic world at the moment, so I hope you're avoiding that wherever you can. And I will see you next week for another video. Bye. I left my notes. Notes on the floor, and now I don't want to put them on my